Coming up, the truth about Ruth Madoff, stunning new details of what she did the days before her husband Bernie's arrest, an early show investigation coming up. When the questions are just as important as the answers.
Aren't you going to have to tell them that they just can't do that?
There's one place where the biggest names in politics face the facts, face the truth.
How bad is this situation right now?
Face the Nation with Bob Schieffer, Sundays on CBS.
A bridge for Microsoft, funded by you, tonight on the CBS Evening News.
Top stories now on Up to the Minute. A strong earthquake has hit central Italy early this morning. More than a dozen deaths are already reported, including children. One official says thousands are now homeless. President Obama is in Turkey for a two-day visit. He'll ask for help in winding down the Iraq War and stabilizing the Middle East. And for the first time since 1991, the media has been allowed to witness the return of a serviceman killed in combat. The family of Air Force Sergeant Philip Myers allowed the coverage under a new policy. In overseas trading, Japan's benchmark Nikkei index closed up 108 points to finish at 8,857. Alexis Christoforous has more in this morning's CBS News Money Watch.
The stock market will try to make it 5 winning weeks in a row. The market is coming off its best 4-week stretch in more than 70 years. On Friday, not even a dismal monthly jobs report was enough to derail the recent rally. The Dow Industrials climbed 39 points to close above 8,000 for the first time in 2 months, while the Nasdaq Composite added 19. General Motors could soon be removed from the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Analysts say if GM falls into bankruptcy, Dow Jones will have to find a replacement for the automaker in the 30 stock index. Analysts say possible candidates to replace GM include Goldman Sachs, whose stock price is above $100, or tech giant Cisco Systems. Electronic tax filing is gaining popularity, up 20% this year, and the IRS says that number will rise as we near the April 15th filing deadline. A major factor, 2 popular tax preparation software makers no longer charge an extra $12.95 for each tax return that's filed electronically. Experts say people are also more comfortable doing things online. And Nintendo is rolling out its next-generation handheld gaming console. Aside from game-playing functions, the DSi has a dual screen, 2 cameras, a microphone, and tools that allow users to create content and share with others. The DSi is retailing for $170. And that's your Money Watch. Click on cbsnews.com for more. In New York, I'm Alexis Christoforous.
As Alexis reported, General Motors remains on the brink of bankruptcy. After the White House forced GM CEO Rick Wagoner to step down last week, some accuse the administration of a double standard and how they're handling the auto industry compared to how they bailed out the banks. CBS's Bob Schieffer asked Treasury Secretary Tim Geithner about it on Face the Nation.
Some people continue to say that you're going easier on our financial institutions than you are on the auto industry. And this morning in the New York Post, the chairman of a congressional watchdog panel has been appointed to watch over these TARP funds, says that, frankly, that unless there's no way out of this situation that we're in unless you fire the people that are running these big banks and these financial institutions. What's your response to that?
Bob, this is a very important issue. Let me just start by saying that, we're 5 quarters into this recession. And if you look back to the beginning of this process, look at the financial system that existed before the recession started, we've already seen a substantial number of the largest banks in our country fail or be absorbed by other institutions, no longer existing as independent institutions. And where the government has acted, like in Fannie and Freddie, or like in AIG, where we've had to do exceptional things to stabilize them, we have replaced the management and the board. And we've done that because we want to make sure that taxpayers' assistance is going to make these companies stronger, make sure there's accountability, make sure it comes with strong conditions. And we'll do that in the future if that's necessary. It's a single standard, a single principle, and our obligation to the American people is to do what's necessary to try to bring recovery back on track as quickly as possible. Just one last thing. Sure. Economies depend on financial systems. They provide the credit that's the oxygen for economies. And recovery requires And recovering the automobile industry requires that we have a financial system that is doing a better job of making credit available on reasonable terms for business and families. And that basic objective has to guide everything we do.
Well, let me take, for example, two that people hear a lot about, and one is Citibank, and the other is Bank of America. Should the CEOs of those institutions be worried that they may face the same fate as Rick Wagner did if their performance does not improve?
But what I'll say is this: when in the future, or I would say if in the future, banks need exceptional assistance in order to get through this, then we'll make sure that assistance comes with conditions not just to protect the taxpayer, but to make sure there's the kind of restructuring necessary for them to emerge stronger. And where that requires a change in management of the board, we'll do that.
CBS's Bob Schieffer with Treasury Secretary Tim Geithner on Face the Nation. Now, a look at your Monday weather. The latest satellite picture shows gray skies across the lower Midwest and snow from Chicago to Detroit. Elsewhere, it's a beautiful clear morning all the way from the plains to the Pacific. Later today, a few more inches of snow will fall across the Great Lakes and Ohio Valley. Most of the Northeast can expect thunderstorms while the South turns windy and much cooler. Not so across the West, though, where it should be another gorgeous day. In sports, believe it or not, the 2009 Major League Baseball season is underway. Philadelphia started off the season in style as World Series champions, but it was all downhill after that for the Phillies. Atlanta's Brian McCann started the scoring off in the first with a 2-run home run off Brett Myers. Later, Jordan Schaefer, in his first career Major League at bat, puts this one over the left center field fence. Braves win the season opener 4-1.
Has hit a home run.
I am a math genius. Whoa, it's the wrong side. Actually, this is the formula for big savings, because right now at Rooms To Go, you can get any living room, bedroom, or dining room priced up to $2,000 for just $30 a month. And at $30 a month, it's not just affordable, it's beautiful. Plus, another math reference. Hey, Rooms To Go pays your interest until April 2012. That's 3 years from now. So do the math. It all adds up to a great opportunity at Rooms To Go. Ha, genius, right?
They're the things you do every morning.
I get up first, so I make the coffee.
Good morning, South Florida.
Here are the stories making headlines.
I'll see you later. Love you.
Love you.
What's your morning routine?
Traffic on the highways not looking too bad.
Go to cbs4.com/morning and let us know.
Bye, Mommy.
Have a good day, honey. I'll see you later.
Don't forget that umbrella as you head out the door.
CBS 4 News. We want to be a part of your morning routine.
If it were easy, everyone would do it. It takes a very special person to join the National Multiple Sclerosis Society's bike tours to end the devastating effects of MS. If you are that special person, seeking a challenge, wanting to make a difference in a friend or neighbor's life, and eager to have a really good time, call 1-800-FIGHT-MS for information on the date and MS bike tour nearest you.
Next ETN Insider, Chris Brown back in court. Will Rihanna defend her man? Will he end up behind bars?
If Rihanna is asked to testify, she will.
Then, Drew Barrymore, wet and wild. The sexy underwater shot.
This is such a fun way to spend the day.
Plus, Zac Efron on kissing an older woman. And
Do you have a man crush on you?
Dancing Stars face off on the ET stage.
Next ETN Insider.
Starting tonight at 7 on CBS 4.
We close this half hour with a scientific mystery. Bats may not be everyone's favorite creature, but they play a crucial role in maintaining the balance of nature. And now they're dying off at a scary rate. CBS's Daniel Seberg has the story.
This snowmobile trek into the mountains of southern Vermont was hardly a pleasure trip. We're at Aeolus Cave.
Be very careful.
Where 100,000 bats have hibernated each winter for 10,000 years. But these wildlife researchers are terrified about what they'll find.
Oh my God, that's worse than last year.
At the cave mouth alone, we discover thousands of dead bats. Many others that should be hibernating deep inside are flying off or crawling about in a futile effort to find food, starving to death in the bitter cold.
These bats are just running out of energy, and they're trying to stay warm as they can at the very last stages of their lives.
2 years ago, biologists first noticed a strange white fungus growing around the snouts of affected bats. They called it white nose syndrome. What's worrisome for researchers is how fast this phenomenon is spreading. It was discovered just 2 years ago in a handful of caves in New York. Last year it was found in 4 states, and this winter 4 more, from as far south as West Virginia to as far west as Pennsylvania. Yet lab tests indicate that the fungus itself may not be what's killing the bats. What is certain is that the bats' hibernating body weight is often far too low. 6.4. Perhaps why they're waking up and flying out into the dead of winter.
One can assume these bats are dying of starvation, but really what is the cause of that? We need to figure out what is killing these bats.
Bats, love them or hate them, are voracious eaters of insects and moths. Fewer bats mean more bugs, and that can mean more pesticides on crops, higher prices for tomatoes or hay, and potentially more cases of insect-borne diseases like West Nile virus.
Losing our bats, I like to say, is like pulling out the steel beam from under a bridge. At some point, it's likely all going to collapse on you.
It's a race against time. 500,000 bats may die this year. Some specimens here are being collected solely to archive their DNA, since entire species are at risk. Daniel Seberg, CBS News, Dorset, Vermont.
Thanks for joining us this half hour. This is CBS News, up to the minute.
A bridge from Microsoft, and you're paying for it?
Why are we funding a brand new project when you have a bridge up the road that's a real hazard?
Tonight.
CBS News is very good news.
Tremors toll. A powerful and deadly earthquake strikes central Italy. Islamic visit. President Obama visits America's closest Muslim ally, Turkey. And Dover documented. A 2-decade ban on news coverage of returning U.S. war dead is lifted. This is the CBS Morning News for Monday, April 6, 2009. Good morning. Thanks for joining us. Michelle Gielan is on assignment. I'm Karen Brown. Thousands of people in central Italy were shaken awake before dawn today by a powerful earthquake. Many made it out of their collapsing homes. Some were not so lucky. The quake was centered in the mountains northeast of Rome. At least 27 people were killed, many more injured, and thousands left homeless. Alan Pizzi is in the quake zone.
The quake struck in the pre-dawn hours, driving people from their beds. Students fled a dormitory wrapped in blankets, seeking safety in the streets. Aftershocks have continued to jolt the area. Rescue workers and search teams have been pulling people from the rubble of several buildings which collapsed in the city center and continue to look for more. As many as 100,000 people have been forced to flee their homes. Civil protection authorities say up to 15,000 buildings were damaged, some of them seriously. The toll of dead and injured continues to rise, and reports say at least 4 isolated villages in the mountains surrounding the city have been heavily damaged. One resident said the tremor seemed to move up and down as opposed to the horizontal motion people in this area are used to, which made it all the more terrifying. The epicenter was close to the surface, which tends to make the effects more serious. Reports on the magnitude vary between 5.8 and 6.4. Italian Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi has declared the affected zone a disaster area and will tour the scene later in the day. Alan Pizzi, CBS News, L'Aquila, Italy.
President Obama is in Turkey this morning, where he'll ask America's closest Muslim ally for more help in the war in Afghanistan. He's speaking to the Turkish parliament in Ankara, then traveling to Istanbul. Bill Plant is with the president. Good morning, Bill.
Morning, Karen. This nation is the bridge between Europe and Asia, and it is the president's last stop on his trip. President Obama said at his inauguration that he wants to reach out to the Muslim world, and he began that with a visit today to the tomb of Kemal Ataturk, who is revered here as the founder of modern Turkey. The president wrote in the guest book that he looked forward to supporting Ataturk's vision of democracy. As one political scholar put it to CBS News, Obama starts with a great advantage because his name is not George W. Bush. President Bush was unpopular here, but President Obama starts with a clean slate. And on this trip, he is in effect introducing himself to the world, including the Muslim world. Today, he speaks to the Turkish parliament, and there are issues about which Turkey cares very deeply. Turkey is a member of the NATO alliance, but Turkey wants to be a member of the European Union. Yesterday in Prague, the president urged that Turkey be allowed to be in the EU, and Mr. Obama is hoping for Turkey's help in return. Karen?
Yeah, Bill, you know, Turkey refused to allow the U.S. to send troops through its territory at the start of the Iraq War. So what does the president want Turkey to do now?
Well, at the moment, that's true, of course, but at the moment, it's the only Muslim nation with troops in the fight against terrorism, with troops in Afghanistan. President Obama is looking for Turkey's continued help with Mideast peace issues as a conduit to Syria, as a conduit possibly to Iran. Is hoping that the Turks will help maintain stability in Iraq as the U.S. withdraws troops. So when he sits down with Turkey's president today, President Obama will ask for Turkey's help there and also with Pakistan and Afghanistan. Karen?
Bill Plant in Ankara, thank you. The UN Security Council reconvenes today for more debate of a response to North Korea's rocket launch. The test appears to have failed, but there's still concern over what many see as a disguised ballistic missile test. Tara Mergener is in Washington. Good morning, Tara.
Good morning, Karen. Well, North Korea went ahead with this launch in spite of numerous international warnings. Now President Obama wants action.
The U.S. will call on the United Nations again today to punish North Korea for its weekend rocket launch.
This is serious. It's a violation, and it merits an appropriately strong United Nations response.
UN Ambassador Susan Rice attended Sunday's emergency session, but after 3 hours, members failed to reach a unified response. The U.S., Britain, and France have drafted a proposed resolution aiming to tighten economic sanctions. It could be adopted by the end of the week. North Korean television claimed the rocket carried a communications satellite, but the U.S. military said nothing entered into orbit, and the rocket instead landed in the Pacific Ocean.
The U.S. and its allies fear the test was actually a smokescreen for a nuclear weapons test. President Obama was quick to condemn it while on his overseas trip.
North Korea broke the rules once again by testing a rocket that could be used for long-range missiles.
Before a crowd of more than 20,000 in Prague, the president urged the world to take a united stand.
Now is the time for a strong international response, and North Korea must know that the path to security and respect will never come through threats and illegal weapons.
If world leaders do go through with some sort of punishment, North Korea has threatened to walk away from the negotiating table and fire up its nuclear processing plant once again.
And this is the third time North Korea has apparently tried to put a satellite into orbit. Karen, back to you.
Yeah, Tara, this is really considered to be a failure as far as this rocket launch is considered, but how far did it get compared to previous launches?
Well, according to intelligence, Karen, it went about 1,200 miles this time. That's about double than it did in 1998 and much better than in 2006 when it fizzled in just 40 seconds.
All right, Tara Mergener in Washington, thank you. For the first time since the first Gulf War almost 20 years ago, the news media is being permitted to cover the return of American war dead. It was a solemn ceremony at Dover Air Force Base in Maryland. With permission from his family, the media were allowed to witness the return last night of Air Force Staff Sergeant Philip Myers of Hopewell, Virginia. Sergeant Myers was killed Saturday in Afghanistan. Last year, he was awarded the Bronze Star for bravery while serving in Iraq.
Everyone loves the taste of a delicious homegrown garden tomato, but planting a garden and trying to take care of it is backbreaking work. And after all that, your tomatoes can still end up on the ground and spoiled. But now there's an easy way to grow delicious homegrown tomatoes without all that work. Introducing the revolutionary Topsy-Turvy. It grows your tomato plants upside down, so there's no digging, weeding, or bending over. Just place your tomato plant into the planter, add potting soil, then hang in water. That's it. The sun warms the planter like a greenhouse, so the root system explodes inside. And because it's upside down, the water and nutrients pour directly from the roots to the fruit, giving you up to 30 pounds of ripe, delicious tomatoes per plant. And they're ready to enjoy up to 4 weeks earlier than when you plant them in the ground. Now you can enjoy delicious homegrown tomatoes in sandwiches, salads, and sauces all season long. Make the best salsa or bruschetta you've ever tasted. Plus, the topsy-turvy also grows mouth-watering cukes, peppers, zucchini, and herbs. It hangs conveniently on any size porch, deck, patio, condo, or apartment balcony. Your family will be amazed, and your friends will wonder how your tomatoes grew so big. And all you did was plant, hang, and water. So why do all that digging, weeding, and backbreaking work, when now you can enjoy delicious homegrown tomatoes without the work with the Topsy-Turvy Tomato Planter for only $19.99. You'll also receive our 4 Seasons recipe guide, packed with delicious ways to prepare and enjoy all your garden tomatoes. Call now and you'll also get our handy kitchen slicer for perfectly even slices every time. But call right now and we'll double the offer. Just pay processing and handling. That's right, you get 2 Topsy-Turvy planters, 2 recipe guides, and 2 slicers, all for only $19.99. But you have to call now.
To order for $19.99 plus $15.90 shipping and handling, you can call 1-800-732-9446. That's 1-800-732-9446. Must be 18 or older to order. You can call 1-800-732-9446.
On the CBS Money Watch, Asian stocks climb as Japan unveils a new economic stimulus plan. Claire Lake is here in New York with more. Good morning, Claire.
Good morning to you, Karen. The global rally entered its 5th straight week overnight. Asian markets posted more solid gains amid hopes the worst of the financial crisis is over. Hong Kong stocks soared 3%. Japan's benchmark Nikkei was up more than 1%. Wall Street faces a critical test this week. It's the start of first quarter earnings season. And how the stock market reacts will be crucial to whether the 4-week rally has legs. Investors hope that the best month-long stretch of gains for stocks since the 1930s will continue for a 5th straight week. Aluminum giant Alcoa will be the first company to turn in its quarterly report card tomorrow. Now, the Dow Jones Industrial Average starts the holiday-shortened week with a gain of 39 points. The Nasdaq begins up 19. And the nation's airlines improved their customer service last year. According to an annual survey of the 17 biggest carriers from Wichita State and St. Louis universities due out today, on-time arrivals were up 3% in 2008 from the same period a year ago. Hawaiian Airlines had the best on-time performance at 90%. American Airlines, though, had the worst at 69%. The airlines also lost fewer bags. Only about 5.2 of them were mishandled for every 100,000 passengers. AirTran had the best track record. American Eagle had the worst. And the number of passenger complaints was also down. U.S. Airways performed the worst. It had 2 complaints for every 100,000 passengers. Southwest Airlines had the best with only 0.25% of complaints per 100,000 passengers. Karen?
Claire Lake here in New York. Thank you very much. In Binghamton, New York, officials defended the response to Friday's shooting rampage, saying all 13 victims would have died even if police had moved in more quickly. Yesterday, families and friends honored the victims, who included immigrants from 8 different countries. Jeff Glow reports.
On Sunday night, hundreds came from around Binghamton to remember a group of people who came from around the world. Layla Khalik left Iraq with her husband of 31 years and her 3 kids following 3 car bombings in their Baghdad neighborhood.
I lose my love at 17 years old. I'm 17. I lose my love, my mother.
Roberta King, a local, was 72 but refused to retire. Said she just enjoyed teaching English too much. Dolores Yagal came from the Philippines after meeting her perfect match, husband Omri. The list of those who died, released today, shows they were from around the world. China, Haiti, Vietnam, Pakistan, Iraq, and the U.S. all died inside the American Civic Association, shot by Jiverly Wong, an immigrant himself from Vietnam.
It was like firecrackers, like a barrage of firecracker noises.
41-year-old Jiverly Wong was upstairs, firing shot after shot, killing 13 people, then himself. Gruss found a way to protect her students downstairs.
It was almost an automatic pilot type thing. And my thought was to get them in a safe place. And I had been down there before, so I knew it was safe. I knew it. Had thick walls and thick doors.
She went to the boiler room where 26 people huddled for 3 hours. We know that Wong, who came over from Vietnam in the early 90s, took classes at the center in February, that he'd expressed frustration over his English skills, and that he'd been spending plenty of time at a gun shop and pistol range. But police said today they may never fully understand why he did what he did. Kay Gruss says no matter what, she'll keep doing what she was doing.
Will you go back?
Oh, yeah.
You're not going to stop teaching?
No. These people need our help.
Day after day, allergy season drags on. Oh, how many days are you going to suffer? Nasonex is the only prescription that's proven to help prevent most seasonal nasal allergy symptoms, including congestion, so you can have more symptom-free days.
Side effects were generally mild and include headache, viral infections, sore throat, nosebleeds, and coughing.
Unscented Nasonex for more symptom-free days. It does not come in generic form, so ask your doctor about Nasonex.
Should be play clothes. That's our fashion statement. With Sears Kidvantage Guarantee, their clothes won't wear out before they've grown out. And right now, great brands for the whole family are 40 to 50% off. Sears, life well spent.
As early light breaks through, music and dance calling you. Just need that mountain room lift before you share your gift.
Here's a look at the weather in some cities around the country. New York, rain developing, 56. Miami, afternoon thunder, 88. Chicago, cloudy and windy, and 36. Denver, sunny, 42. LA, sunny and 80. Time now for a check on the national forecast. The latest satellite picture shows gray skies extending from the East Coast to the cold and snowy Midwest. Skies are beginning to clear across the South. It's clear from the plains to the Pacific. Later today, cold, gusty winds will whip bands of heavy, wet snow across the eastern Great Lakes and Ohio Valley. Showers and thunderstorms will soak the Northeast, and the South will turn windy and sharply colder, but it will be a beautiful day in the West. It may be the start of the baseball season, but it's still like winter in Chicago this morning. Forecasters expect 2 to 5 inches of rain, sleet, and snow in the Windy City today. So the White Sox have postponed their season opener against Kansas City until tomorrow. But there was no snow in Philadelphia last night for the first game of the season. The world champion Phillies celebrated before the game, but then they had to face Atlanta's Derek Lowe. He pitched 8 superb innings, and the Braves got 3 home runs, one by rookie center fielder Jordan Schaefer in his first career at bat. Braves 4, Phils 1. In basketball, it was the Will Bynum show for Detroit. Bynum scored a franchise record 26 points in the fourth quarter as the Pistons beat the Charlotte Bobcats 104-97. In Dallas, Jason Kidd had 19 points and 20 assists, passing Magic Johnson for third on the all-time assist list. The Mavericks got 81 points in the first half and beat the Phoenix Suns 140-116. And the NCAA Men's College Basketball Championship will be decided tonight. North Carolina's Tar Heels are getting ready to take on underdog Michigan State in Detroit, the Spartans' own backyard. And you can see it here on CBS. Coverage of the NCAA final game begins at 9 p.m. Eastern. When we return, another look at this morning's top stories. And the president arrives in Turkey seeking support from NATO's only Muslim member.
New Stouffer's Corner Bistro Stromboli. Seasoned Italian-style crust filled with delicious meats and real cheese. Because getting ready for a good dinner doesn't always mean setting the table. New from Stouffer's.
I was discovered for my smile. Now I take total care of it.
New Act Total Care mouthwash kills germs, promotes healthy gums, rebuilds enamel, even strengthens teeth. New Act Total Care does it all.
Are you taking total care of your smile?
I'm Bruce Johnson, and I'm an inventor. I was always congested at night, and that meant a bad night of sleep. I tried everything from padded paper clips to straws. Finally, one night I was laying in bed, and I thought, outside of the nose, not inside.
Inside Breathe Right nasal strips are 2 plastic bands that lift open nasal passages so you breathe better and sleep better.
My nasal passages stay open, and I can breathe really quite relaxed.
If you have a cold, allergies, deviated septum, or snore, try Breathe Right and you'll notice a difference.
Autism steals. Autism leaves an empty shell. Autism is no hope, no future. These aren't facts, these are myths. I'm an autistic person, and the national conversation about autism is happening without us.
I am a mother, a wife, a writer, a social worker, and an activist.
I'm a mathematician, musician, and scholar. I can speak for myself.
Our lives are not tragedies.
You must hear our voices.
Leave the old stereotypes behind.
If it were easy, everyone would do it. It takes a very special person to join the National Multiple Sclerosis Society's bike tours to end the devastating effects of MS. If you are that special person, seeking a challenge, wanting to make a difference in a friend or neighbor's life, and eager to have a really good time, call 1-800-FIGHT-MS for information on the date and MS bike tour nearest you.
On the CBS Morning News, here's a look at today's weather. Cold, gusty winds will whip 2 to 5 inches of wet snow across the eastern Great Lakes and Ohio Valley. Heavy rain will soak much of the Northeast, but it'll be bright and sunny from the plains to the Pacific. Here's another look at this morning's top stories. Italy earthquake. A powerful earthquake rocked central Italy early this morning, killing at least 27 people. The quake was centered about 60 miles northeast of Rome. Thousands are homeless. Violence Vigil. A service was held for the 13 victims of Friday's shooting rampage at an immigrant center in Binghamton, New York. And War Dead. A nearly 2-decade ban on news coverage of returning American war dead is over. Air Force Staff Sergeant Philip Meyer's body arrived last night at Dover Air Force Base. He was killed in Afghanistan on Saturday. As we've reported, President Obama is in Turkey this morning, the beginning of a 2-day visit to America's closest Muslim ally. Charlie D'Agata is in London with more. Good morning, Charlie.
Good morning to you, Karen. The G20 summit here in London, the NATO summit in Strasbourg, the North Korean missile launch. It's been a busy week for the president. Now he's in Turkey in an effort to strengthen ties with a close American ally. They're the first steps President Barack Obama has taken in a Muslim country since taking office. He laid a wreath at the tomb of Turkey's founder before meeting the country's president in the capital, Ankara. President Obama is hoping for Turkey's help in the U.S. pull out from Iraq and to turn around the war in Afghanistan. Turkey could also help convince Iran to stop its nuclear ambitions. Over the weekend in Prague, the president repeated that America is ready to talk.
My administration will seek engagement with Iran based on mutual interests and mutual respect. We believe in dialogue.
The president will spend 2 days in Turkey, the last stop of his first overseas tour, a trip that took him through Britain, France, Germany, and the Czech Republic. But his trip to Turkey is being met by protests. The country of 77 million Muslims is a key U.S. ally and the only Muslim member of the NATO military alliance. The president's plan to move more NATO forces into Afghanistan has some protesters angry at the prospect of Muslims fighting Muslims. They want to pull Turkey into international war zones, says this Turkish demonstrator. That's why this is a very dangerous trip. Turkish security teams are preparing for more protests when the president travels to Istanbul later today. Now, it's the first time the president is traveling without First Lady Michelle Obama, who has returned to Washington after her own whirlwind tour of Europe. Karen?
Yeah, and Charlie, we all know that Michelle Obama was a huge hit there in Great Britain. How was she received on the whole throughout Europe?
She really went down a storm, starting with that embrace that she shared with the Queen here in Britain, breaking protocol, and then her appearance in Paris and in the Czech Republic. Really, adoration and adulation toward the First Lady. Karen?
All right, Charlie D'Agata in London, thank you so much. This morning on The Early Show, new revelations about Ponzi schemer Bernie Madoff's wife, plus new rules for dating in a down economy. I'm Karen Brown, and this is the CBS Morning News.
We asked one woman to wash with soap, another with Dove. If you could see the difference, you'd see soap leaves an invisible layer of scum on your skin. Dove leaves no soap scum. For smooth, clean skin, feel the difference for yourself.
Okay, listen up. Everywhere in the menu, mayo, corn dogs, you are so out of here.
The complete balanced nutrition of Ensure, with 24 vitamins and minerals, antioxidants, and omega-3s.
Ensure, nutrition in charge.
Marley, no. Marley, no. Marley, no. Marley, already gone through 2 bowls of kibbles.
Your dog's one of a kind.
Chewed through a seatbelt.
Help him make the most of every laughable, lovable year with Purina Puppy Chow. Long live rascals. Long live your dog. Purina Puppy Chow and Purina Dog Chow.
Hi, I'm Jeff Katz from Dolphin Carpet and Tile. During these tough economic times, we've slashed our prices to the lowest levels in our history. No reasonable offer will be refused. Dolphin Carpet and Tile wants your business. If you need new flooring, now is the time to buy.
Did you know that 1 in 5 people will have an insurance claim this year? East Coast Public Adjusters, one of Florida's largest and most dependable firms, specializes in getting you the maximum compensation from your insurance company.
The overall experience has been unbelievable. I would recommend them to all my friends.
And they have the right staff doing the right thing at the right time, and they facilitate and get the job done.
To learn more, call or go to eastcoastadjusters.com.
Call East Coast Public Adjusters today. Let us go to work for you.
Hi, I'm Jeff Katz from Dolphin Carpet and Tile. During these tough economic times, we've slashed our prices to the lowest levels in our history, and I've authorized 18-month no-interest financing. Dolphin Carpet and Tile wants your business. Now is the time to buy.
They celebrated the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania last night in Houston. Oscar nominee Mickey Rourke got into the ring, surprising Chris Jericho with some of his moves, and the crowd loved it, as you can imagine. Over 70,000 fans attended the performance, and more than 1 million watched on pay-per-view. In addition to wrestling, there were musical performances by Kid Rock and others. And 25 years after it all started, some of the biggest stars of wrestling came back for the annual extravaganza to honor the greatest moments from the world's sweatiest soap opera. There was another big party last night in Las Vegas, the 44th Annual Academy of Country Music Awards show. And this year, the ladies walked off with a lot of the top awards, as Manuel Gallegos reports.
Carrie Underwood. A huge night for Carrie Underwood, once voted by fans as the American Idol. This year, fans picked her as country music's Entertainer of the Year, and she won Top Female Vocalist.
I've had a lot of good moments in the past 4 years. This one takes the cake.
Another young star, Taylor Swift, took home Album of the Year.
A lot of people that know me know that if I talk to you for more than 5 minutes, I'm probably going to write a song about you. So, that being said, I'd like to thank all the characters.
Top male vocalist went to Brad Paisley, who had to give his acceptance speech from home because his wife is about to have a baby.
I wish I could be there, but I didn't want to take the chance of missing the birth of our next child.
Jamie Johnson grabbed the first award, Song of the Year, for In Color.
Thanks to my band, too, for going in on an off day and producing an off record.
Now, before the show out here on the orange carpet, the artists had a lot to say about their fans and also where they find their inspiration for their songs.
I write about love.
Love.
And the loss of love and drinking too much because you got left.
Well, they're living it up on Wall Street. But it's the recession that inspired John Rich's latest hit.
The lyric says, in the real world, they're shutting Detroit down while the boss man takes his bonus pay and jets his lousy butt out of town. Basically, that's what it says.
In a brand new category, Julianne Hough won for Top New Artist.
And of course, I can't thank you guys enough, the fans. so much.
And it was country music's young talent that stole the show. Legendary performer George Strait was nominated for 6 awards, but walked away empty-handed. Manuel Gallegos, CBS News, Las Vegas.
And that sounds like a country music song just waiting to be written. That's the CBS Morning News for this Monday. Thank you for being here with us. We hope you'll join us later for the early show. I'm Karen Brown. Have a great day.
I didn't get my perfect fantasy. I realize you love yourself more than you could ever love me. So go and tell your friends that I'm obsessive and crazy. That's fine. You won't mind if I say, by the way.
Stories today in South Florida.
Well, this morning's surveillance video may help police catch the driver of an SUV that smashed into a car filled with passengers, leaving one woman in critical condition.
A family is appealing for help after their 16-year-old son is robbed and then senselessly gunned down in front of a Lauderdale Lakes high school.
President Obama is in Turkey today on a quest to improve U.S. relations with the Muslim world. Meantime, he's also condemning North Korea's missile launch yesterday, which happened before he gave a speech on eliminating nuclear weapons.
It may not be summer yet, but the boys of summer are ready in South Florida. It's opening day for the Florida Marlins as they take on the Washington Nationals.
Yay!
I know, it's exciting.
Yes, it is.
So the question would be then, weather-wise, how are we going to do for opening day? Is it going to be a good one at the ballpark?
I think we're going to be okay. It's going to be a hot day today, though. 92 degrees could possibly be our high
been
temperature.
Sticky.
Yeah,
it has been sticky.
It's been very sticky. We have a cold front moving through today, a pretty powerful one. It's not going to bring us much rain, so I don't think it's going to be a washout. We could see a few scattered showers, but temperatures are going to drop dramatically tomorrow. Behind this front, we could drop as many as 10 to 15 degrees across the area as far as our high temperatures go. This is your Titan Radar in HD. We are dry this morning across South Florida. All the rain we're seeing is well to the north, and it's just a little bit of rain at that. Really not much associated with this front. That's going to continue to slide down to the south throughout the day, eventually be in South Florida later this afternoon. So we could see a few showers, like we said, but not a washout. 80 temperatures right now, actually around 75 degrees. Winds out of the southeast at 8. We are going to see those temperatures climb, though, throughout the day, and we'll talk more about this cool down coming up in just a little bit. Let's head over to traffic with Roxy.
Thanks, Jen. And at 5 o'clock this morning, start you off with a traffic alert. It's actually a construction alert this morning, and it's for those of you commuting in Monroe. The 7-mile bridge on Overseas Highway is closed in both directions between mile marker 39 and 46. It's closed for 4 hours today. Could have been as closed as early as 8 p.m. But needless to say, speed limit down to 35 miles an hour here. You'll pretty much be stopped whether you're traveling north or south here. Same exact closure coming your way April 20th. So a heads up to you, there's some major long-term construction there on the 7-mile bridge. Here are the rest of your headlines in Dade County for you. Good morning. Moving well, accident-free on 95, the 836, and on the 826. We had a serious overnight there southbound on the Turnpike in Dade County. Broward County much quieter. Just construction there to worry about in Broward County. Getting onto the maps this morning, that overnight injury accident was southbound Turnpike right at Kendall Drive. At one point, FHP reporting all lanes closed here southbound Turnpike at Kendall Drive. So expect that to still possibly be over on the shoulder with onlooker delays on the approach. Of course, not many people traveling at 501 this morning, though. Other closures this morning on the 836 if you're traveling westbound at 42nd, that's Lejeune, and the on-ramp to Northwest 107th Avenue if you're traveling westbound on the 836, that is closed. Detours mapped out in that area. Up into Broward we go. Like I said, much quieter this morning. Southbound Turnpike, some construction there right at 595, also at Commercial. And in that area reported. Southbound 75, that's some long-term construction there right at the 595 off ramps. So look out for that. That's the latest on your roads and your weather. Now back to your news.
Roxy, thank you. A vicious hit and run is caught on camera. Police say a driver runs a red light and smashes into a car loaded with passengers. This morning, one person is in the hospital with some pretty serious injuries. Steve Litz joins us live from Jackson Memorial Hospital with more on the story this morning. Steve, good morning.
Pam, good morning. The latest information we have is that Anna Alfonso, the woman who was in that car, is in critical condition here at Jackson Memorial. There is surveillance video that we want to show you first. First, though, take a look at the car that Alfonso is in. The back driver's side is back.